My FPL Game Week 38 team selection. This is it, guys. The final game week of the season. We're about to call it a wrap. All the games starting at the same time, 4 p.m. Nigerian time today. Don't forget to set your teams. Also, try as much as possible to see if you can wait for leaks for, coming out ahead of the game. For those of you that are going to be using your free hits, those that want to activate their chips, try and, wait as long as possible to see if you can get those leaks in before you make any transfers or make any activate those ships, right? So yeah, as usual, we're gonna go and talk about how my team performed in game week 37, as well as how my team is looking going into the final game week of the season. So let's just get right into it. In game week 37, my team scored a total of 42 points. That makes it three consecutive red arrows. It's been really, really frustrating. I keep on missing out on the key players, either on my bench or, fail to bring in the right player at the right time. But that's what FPL is at the end of the day, right? In goal, I had Areola, who returned just the 2 points for me in the game against Nottingham Forest, where they lost 2-1 over the weekend. Quite frustrating, actually, because prior to this game, I had started Allison in the previous three, and he returned 2 points. And now that I benched him, he returned 4 points, and Areola returned two. But yeah, in my defense, I had Milenkovic, who scored the winning goal for them in the game against West Ham, returning 8 points. Unfortunately, the clean sheet got cancelled towards the tail end of the game, so he returned just 8 points. Could have been easily a 14, 15 point hauler from him. Dan Bonn in the game against Arsenal returned just 1 point after the loss 1-0 in that game. My third defender was Daniel Munoz, who also returned 1 point in their 4-2 win against Wolves over the weekend. Let's hold on. Let's move on to my midfield. In my midfield, I had Salah. Like I've said previously in all my previous videos, Salah's running form is terrible, especially now that they, managed to clinch the Premier League title earlier with about 6 games to spare. I just don't expect a lot of, goal involvement from him. He hasn't been playing really bad, but that there's no spark, there's no drive, right, for him to really do much anymore, aside from maybe the individual records that he's pursuing. So yeah, just the 2 points from him. Mbuemo with a 5 points return in that game over the weekend to Fulham. It was a back and forth game, but Fulham managed to clinch it at the dying minutes to win 3-2 as they continue their pursuit for Europe. Mbuemo could have easily had a two-goal involvement in that game, but unfortunately he missed the penalty and returned just 5 points for his captainers and owners as well. My third midfielder was Kevin De Bruyne. Could have easily gotten the best send off you could ever, dream of for one of the club's legends. Missed a really, really, possibly one of the misses of the season. Missed, an empty net and returned just 3 points in his final home game for Manchester City against Bournemouth midweek. Rogers was my fourth defender, returning 6 points for me in that game against Tottenham. Got an assist for their second goal. My fifth midfielder was Jacob Murphy in that game against Arsenal, returning just the 2 points for me. Up in attack, I had Watkins, who was my captain, getting an assist in that game and returning 10 points as my captain. My second attacker was Chris Wood, with just the 2 points for me in the game against West Ham. I honestly expected more from him in this game, but just the 2 points from him. On my bench, I had Alison Becker, who, like I said, returned 4 points. Ishak was not in the squad, so he didn't play, so he returned 0 points. Timber as well with the 0 points, and Kerke's 1 point from the 3-1 loss to Man City middle of the week. So basically, this is my team. What we scored in 37, 42 points, like I said, another red arrow to 297k. At this point, I'm just hoping for the best possible finish to the end of the season. Yeah, so let's just look at how my team is shaped up going into game week 38. In game week 38, I'm going to be starting Areola for the final game of the season. Just because I feel like the Liverpool and the Crystal Palace game, they both have achieved what they want to achieve. Crystal Palace winning the FA Cup and getting European competitions next season. Liverpool already winning the Premier League. All is done and dusted for them. So I feel like this may be a high scoring game where they just both go at themselves. So I don't really see a clean sheet for Allison in this game. So I'm going with Areola away to Ipswich. Hopefully we see a possible clean sheet for him in this game. We also may see Fabianski get the nod just because we believe that it may be his final game for West Ham. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. But yeah, like I said, Allison is on my bench. So if Ariola doesn't play, then we could see Allison coming for him. My first defender is going to be Dan Bonn at home to Everton. We know that Newcastle are pursuing European places, and it's the final home game of the season. With some of their key defenders out, and the people of Tarkowski, Jared Brantwaite, I feel like Bourne actually has the height advantage to actually hurt Everton from the set pieces. I do expect a goal from him from set piece possibly today, and a possible clean sheet for Newcastle in their final home game of the season as they pursue UCL qualification as well. My second defender is going to be Daniel Munoz. Like I said, I expect the Crystal Palace and Liverpool game to be a high scoring game. So hopefully I see Munoz get some attacking returns. He's one of their best attacking defenders this season, one of the best attacking defenders in the game as well this season. So I'm hoping for, reasonable amount of attacking returns from him if it turns out to be a high scoring game like I predicted. My third defender is going to be Kerkez at home to Leicester, also their final home game of the season as they are pursuing conference league places. The battle for conference league is still on between Bournemouth, Brentford, and Fulham at the moment. So I believe that there should be a possible, clean sheet for Bournemouth in this game, or the possibility of a goal or attacking return for Kekes in this game. So he's going to be my third defender. In my midfield, I have five midfielders. My first midfielder is going to be Mbuemo away to Wolves. We've seen how well Mbuemo plays for Brentford this season. His partnership with Wissa has been outstanding this season. He has returned in his last three games, albeit minor returns, but he still has the ability to return those double figure hauls. He's also a potential for a differential captain if you're looking to chase rank going into this game week. So he's going to be my first midfielder. My second midfielder is going to be Salah, just because of his expected ownership at the moment at home to Crystal Palace. He does have a good record against them, right? And I'm guessing he's going to be a really strong contender for captaincy this week, seeing as it's their final home game of the season as well. So yeah, he's going to be my second midfielder. My third midfielder is going to be Jacob Murphy at home to Everton. He has been terrific for Everton, for Newcastle rather this season, amassing over 120 points in FPL as well this season. So he's going to be my third midfielder. Hopefully, he gets up to 70 minutes in the game and gets a potential attacking return. Like I said, they're pursuing UCL qualification ahead of next season. So I do feel like this may be a decently high scoring game for Newcastle going into game week 38. My fourth midfielder is Kevin De Bruyne. One I'm actually keeping an eye on out for whether he does get the starts in this final game week or he comes off the bench. If he doesn't start, I may be moving him to Bukayo Saka or Trossard going into the final game of the season. Um, and my fifth midfielder is Morgan Rogers away to Manchester United. Aston Villa are another team that are looking to try and secure UCL qualification ahead of next season. Manchester United don't have anything to fight for, nothing to play for going into the next season, although it is their last home game of the season. So we really don't know what to expect going into this game. But I do see Villa, clinching a win in this game. So Rogers being, one of their best scoring players FPL wise also this season, he's going to be my fifth midfielder going into this game week. Up top, I have Ishak, who at the moment is my captain at home to Everton. We've seen a lot of high scoring games in the last game weeks of the season, previous season. Most of the, high performing players in those final games have always been strikers. So I do believe that if Ishak gets the start, he has the potential to actually return a haul going into this game week. But I'm just, a bit skeptical because of his minutes in this game. He may not play long if he does get the start. So it's still a bit shaky for me on where my captaincy is going to be going into game week 38, but it is on him at the moment. Watkins is my second attacker away to Manchester United. On my bench, I have Allison at home to Crystal Palace, Chris Wood at home to Chelsea, who may come in for me if Ishak doesn't play, or if we get news that Ishak isn't going to be in the squad, I may move away from Ishak to the likes of Evan Nielsen or Kai Havertz if he does get the start for Arsenal against Southampton. Milenkovic is also my second defender, as well as Timber, who is my last defender with Southampton. He's injured, so he's not going to be playing this game. So this is what my team looks like going into this game week. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. I'll get back to them as soon as possible. See you guys next season. Good luck in the final game week of the season. Bye for now, guys.